As we mentioned, Root and Kellen are going to retain their spot. If you're joining us late, Grace did not play in game number 1, but would be preferred to Chungo in game number 2.
Yeah, we've actually seen this iteration of Jin Air so far. Saw it, I think, once or twice in the...
Everything else the same. Jin Air trying to make their execution the unique variable between game 1 and game number 2, and maybe just getting slightly on top of each other with Jin Air trying to kill the Varus. The Fear Beyond Death Fear is actually the most important ability to draw your attention to in every team fight, because it should be hitting forward, and you have to get through that laning phase to make sure you're not too far behind in gold to make that a mute point.
Well, we're going to find out right now. On to the Rift for game number 2.
US double base damage are the relevant points here. Both of them are Aftershock jungles. The skirmish advantage should be there for the Aatrox early, but for now, at least for Sejuani, just like with the Lee Sin, Clid's happy to power farm it out.
Well, Linderung does have heroic entrance available to him here. As Khan flashes over, gets himself into his ultimate, but it's not enough. They take that first blood oh so easily, and the teleport. You can't escape those ones anymore. Faker has to get out of there, doesn't use the flash, thought he might have had to. Decimating smash, Grace wants more, goes in when he probably didn't want to, gets a double taunt, but he'll still probably go down. There we go, Faker gets the corrosive charge, but that was honestly a mistake from Grace.
Yeah, Clid and Faker so smart to orb walk back. They expected the Q to be charged by the Scion, they sidestep it, and that means Galio's in no man's land bot lane.
Okay. Root's just going to get exhausted, and that means that SKT are going to be more than fine. No matter to get any control around here as we check out this top lane exchange once again.
Khan plays this really well. He baits the Scion to ult towards the right side edge of his Realm Warp and then flashes to the other side to at least open up space. But the beginning, the fact that before that play, he hadn't been called to disengage is the more surprising thing. You have to fully commit to these teleports. You have to be more direct and bold about your positioning and the setup for turret dives, because you know the TPs are going to be guaranteed. Very nice sidestep back from Faker, makes it a 1-for-1, but definitely
almost an instant double kill and starting the game with 3-0. So going for a play like that, I can certainly understand. You know, almost put it in the bag at that point. Very even though in the mid lane.
Here we go again.
I think I've seen this one before, Papa Smithy. Rune Prison is down. Khan gets out of the way of that one very, very easily. Heroic entrance is a little bit late, but Decimating Smash, just the tip. Picks up the kill on the rise for the second time, and Khan is being bullied so far this series.
Exactly. It happens in the YouTube videos, happening on the Rift as well, and this time the dives aren't going as astray as they did in game number 1. And remember, when we finally saw the AoE Wombo combo, they were 10,000 gold behind, and yet it worked to a point. So we know that if they're finding some gold parity, maybe this Wombo combo might cause a lot more headaches for SK Telecom T1 in game number 2.
Well, they are going to pick up the first Drake, so that's still good news, but they are behind in gold for the first time since hitting the Rift in 2019 on the LCK stage. I remember, but then Kesper Cup happened and he didn't play all that well and sort of rescinded that award, but has been playing very proactively. The change between Grace and Chungo so far this game has been night and day.
Just looks a bit more ready on the stage. Speaking of ready, we're seeing the junglers here both for counter ganks and proactive ganks respectively. Now this hero's entrance is on cooldown for now, but Clid knows he wants to provide coverage because Teddy, he's just pushing up and getting as much turret damage as possible onto Jin Air's bot lane turret.
Yeah, Clid being very patient, waiting for that vision to be guaranteed. You can't see that passive be thrown over, even though we did, as there's the engage. Malrung's here, but it's a 3v3. Teddy flashes out of the way beautifully, but in goes Root. I don't know whether it's the idea they wanted, because Mata still had the Devour available. It was all a bait. It was all a cunning ruse, and SKT, they win it in the bottom lane.
SKT had the information advantage. They were the ones watching on, and the big engage from Jin Air was right to be punished by Clid. The use of the Glacial Prison onto the Rakan is perfect, because remember, it's cleanse onto Root. There's no cleanse and very low base stats onto this Rakan. They kill him first, they trade up. Nice stuff by SKT's trio.
Absolutely beautifully done. Linderung greeting a little bit for these turret platings. Clid making his way up there as well. Doesn't have flash. He's online.
Turret diving, the squishy rise, the most reliable thing to do for Jin Air. Now they're trying someone less squishy.
Yep, Justice Punch into the disdain, but it's not going to work this time, Fake. Oh! Mata has him in his belly, but even through the ignite is still going to survive. I'm not sure how that happened. but Faker walks away.
Basically an entire team with a gold lead, and it gets bigger for SKT.
Yeah.
Remember when we had Galio Camille be the dominant meta comp, we were like, damn, isn't this strong? You're always going to get in there. That part is true, but we also would fall back and say the other side of the coin is those ults are on cooldown. Well, your team doesn't do very much. If you waste all that time, you give up gold, and that's why Jin need to continue to make plays like this to keep themselves competitive and not fall behind for that wombo to misfire in the future.
Well, we're going to get first Star Blood going over to SKT, most likely here as they pick it up on the bottom side. Wow, it was very, very close.
Only 100 gold, heads up to try to get over it. Get over it.
One of those young players that's phenomenally good at solo queue. Currently rank 18 at the moment, I believe. I was checking last night, but I may have experienced a bit of a shift with our LCK players not able to play as much solo
We'll
queue.
be talking about a lot more solo queue in Series 2, because Damwon Gaming is still right up there.
Oh, yeah.
As a 5-man squad. Let's talk about the Infernal Drake, because, you know, the ults are available. SKT kind of has to fight for it. Seems like fireworks coming.
Yeah, can he actually survive this is the question. There's just too much CC. He was trying to go left, trying to go right, couldn't do anything, and then he's in the air and he's dead.
We should call Peter. That was some atrocities committed on the Piggy. That Piggy taken down. Very, very harsh stuff, but Sejuani dead. Means that the Infernal does go to Jinair, and this time the Wombo comes off.
Yeah, this is like an episode of Pimp My Boar and then turned into one of those documentaries that's really, really sad about animal activists, and that is going to be Infernal Drake going over to Jinair. So having your cake, eating it too is brilliant to get them back into this game. Here from SKT.
Lane ward is really nice here.
Yeah, really smart.
Doesn't seem like it's scouted out by Jinair, so Linderong unable to get in. He's going to be spotted there, and the Rift Herald still has about a minute before it despawns, and it's another way to try to force and see if SKT will walk up for a fight.
At the moment, Jinair do have a lot of damage, so they can take this one relatively quickly. Grace is around as well, and SKT not wanting to put their faces in it to just give this one up. So Shelly over to Jinair. Faker pushing on the bottom side is what they get for it, but Linderong's
X seconds that you're very unlikely to be surprised by a Wombo engage, and thus, more often than not, SKT are backing away, getting side lane advantages, and the execution that we need to see needs to be on the side of Jinair, and a half-hearted charge on the Rift Herald is not that execution.
No, only down to half health is that mid-outer turret. And I think what makes these compositions work incredibly well is if you've got someone that can get wards in exactly the right positions in order to stop there from being these engages on the three members that are trying to farm things out in the mid lane.
Jinair wins, what does it look like? It's basically the question you're getting to. What it looks like is Teddy is under enough threat that either he's zoned by one person or he's in Devour and not free ordering. If he's stacking up his Rage Blade and his Hurricane, they've lost the fight. But threat onto him, maybe Aatrox just run. If Aatrox zones away Varus, Jinair win the fight. So it's all about threat. And speaking of threat,
Linderong, few auto attacks there, but Teddy playing pretty safely. Faker in trouble. There's the unstoppable onslaught. Gets exhausted. Gets at least one knockup, but we're trading ultimates everywhere. Grace does get one knockup. Devour now on cooldown. That is super important as Faker might die. Winds of War going to be enough, augmented by Root's damage as Grace goes golden. This might be the fight that Jinair we're looking for. Teddy now has nowhere to go. In goes Root. Dives forward with the killer instinct, and it's named exactly right in this fight as Jinair walk away with all 5 members but some low health bars.
And Faker and SKT got impatient. They tried to overforce against a team comp that was made to force. They were winning in the side lanes. Instead, they get a bit too ambitious. We'll see what it means for the Infernal as the health bars are not the highest on the side of Jinair, but that was the exact prototype of a fight that Jinair could win.
And Grace has taken the Ignite this game, and I think this is the point where it did kind of bite them, because he could have gone back, could have got the teleport to get back.
Then Teddy's free hitting, then they're dead. So the fact that Faker missed his ultimate there was actually very consequential. I guarantee if SKT get the Urgot ult off successfully, they will win a 5v5, but they're on Baron, and it's damn low.
Yeah, it's down to 2,000 health already. That one is definitely going to be taken here by SKT, but can they win the fight now? Realm Warp gets 3 of them out. Faker not going to survive, but they'll take one sacrificial lamb and a Baron any day of the week.
Oh, Jinair with
thirst to build. Try and make Teddy even 2-0.
Yep. This is the new future. This is low part. This is 2019.
Well, Gargoyle Stoneplate is trying to keep Linderong alive. He's got a lot of shields, but this tower doesn't. Khan is just auto-attacking it to death as the Rise. Teddy alongside him. And They're just going to take them all over the map. They've already broken open the base. They take an inner turret there as well. And now Jinair going for the desperation engage. Linderung getting his way forward. The Galio delivery system just isn't good enough because Teddy, as soon as he gets a few auto attacks off, they're dead. Yes, you managed to get your buttons pushed in the right positions, but you need to survive as Marta's just able to emote spam before Grace is even dead. Finally, they get some relevant damage on him, but that's after the whole team has bitten the dust.
Sometimes you got to do it all yourself. Teddy says, not going to worry about enemy position. I'm just going to assassinate the enemy AD carry. He solo kills Root, and that will be the end of the game.
Yep, that is all she wrote. As Teddy just flashing for the fun of it. Linderung on his turret fountain is going to survive for the moment, so you can have that small win, my friend, but SKT will take the 2-0.
It turns out you can take the Teddy out of Jinair and find some good results for SK Telecom T1. He was able to decide this game in the final fight by assassinating the enemy AD carry. Definitely some hiccups along the way for SKT, especially